Disclaimer, I want to say that this is not a paid advertisement and I'm in no way affiliated with any company. Hello and welcome to Pete's Box of Stuff. So I will be talking about stuff that I have in a box or take out of boxes. We will see what will happen. So my name is Pete, I like pictures. Let's start. There's a law on the internet and it says if you have a YouTube channel that even just has remotely to do with photography and you get new gear, then you have to make an unboxing video. And that is what I'm gonna do because I got new gear. I got the Canon EF-S 24mm f 2.8 STM lens. Well, unboxing is sort of stripping, right? And no worries, I won't strip, but I'm gonna strip this lens off its box. In this beautifully cube-shaped box, we have the Canon EF-S 24mm f 2.8 STM. EF-S stands for the mount, so this lens will only fit on crop cameras, and STM is the step motor. The autofocus motor is a very silent motor. So here we have the manual, no, the warranty, sorry. There's something in Russian. I didn't even know that this is an American company, but okay. And here we have, oh God, I will lose so many followers. And here we have the manual, of course. I'll put it, this was just a joke, okay? So, here, the cardboard box. And here is it, the lens. It was put in some kind of plastic thing so that it doesn't fall around, and it is wrapped in bubble wrap. So let's take it out, and it's put in another. Oh, it's hard to not pop the bubbles. Okay, I won't do that. So here, let's take it out of another plastic bag, and here we have it. It is a so-called pancake lens, pancake because it is very flat, you see, and I'm curious how it will look like on my camera. We have see that the glass element is very small compared to, for example, my other lenses. Lens cap, we have the switch for autofocus and manual focus. We have that white dot, and you see the connector, the mount is metal, which is really good. And the whole lens feels very good, feels really good. So let's take a closer look. The macro, how close can I get to still focus correctly? 16 centimeters or 0.52 feet. So half a foot, that is close. The switch, and here we see that white little dot, that indicates that this is an EF-S lens, so only will fit on crop cameras, and we will see that later on the camera. And it has a 52mm diameter for filters, for on-lens filters, and I can use some of my filters on that, so I don't have to buy new ones. And the lens is really heavy, comparatively heavy. Now I'm really curious how it will look like on my camera. So here we have that white dot that tells us where to put or how to put the lens on so that it will really click in. So just drag it, click, it's in there. You can take the lens cap off, and it looks funny, that really pancake, that flat lens on my comparatively big camera. And I'm really curious how it will feel like taking photos with that. I think it might be a good lens for street photography because of the angle of view that it provides on my crop sensor. And that was a bit of avocado that is still in there. I was eating avocado and I still haven't got it completely out of the camera. Yeah, I really like that lens. Looks great. The good thing is that the focusing ring is separate. So if we attach a filter, we can focus and the filter won't move. And that is something that is really a good thing, especially if we're using polarizing filters or graduated ND filters.
so it won't change. It's a very, very good thing.
So now I'm recording video, and sometimes the autofocus is very loud with lenses, especially with more affordable ones. Let's check how loud this one is and how fast it is. Did you hear that? Amazing. Very, very low. And you see the autofocus is even very fast. And I can go really close with that lens. So that will give me a lot. 16 centimeters. I took a photo. Really, really cool.
Usually I'm not the person to really talk about gear a lot, or what type of gear is great or not great, but I thought since I got that new lens that maybe it would be interesting to talk a bit about lenses on this video. So why did I choose to get the Canon EF-S 24mm 2.8 lens for my camera? Let me start with what I started with when I started with DSLR photography a couple of years ago. Of course, like most people, I started with the kit lens, the 1855 kit lens, which is, as I said in one episode of my podcast, not so bad as not many people claim. So I will spare you the rant in this video. So I started with that one. I still shoot a lot with that lens, and I might stop shooting with that lens because of that, but I'm going to talk about that a bit later. The next lens I got, because I realized, okay, it is okay, an okay-ish lens. Okay-ish, it's not a perfect lens, by no means a perfect lens, but it's an okay-ish lens. But it's not very fast, meaning it doesn't really let in a lot of light. And I read so much that you need to have a 50mm lens. You need to have a 50mm prime lens. That is obligatory, right? I will surely talk about that topic one day. So I got the nifty 50, the Canon EF 50mm 1.8.2, and I love that lens. This is even my second one because I bricked the first one during my time in Kenya. So it was the second day my camera bag fell down, and this lens, not this lens, the other lens was in it, and it broke. But so I was without that lens during my time in Kenya, and I hated it. Okay. A year later, or 2 years later, I went to visit Venice. And because I had a lot of hubris back then, I said, I will make a city portrait of Venice with just the 50mm lens. And I failed miserably because, let's face it, if you're in these, maybe a better photographer than I am could do that. I wasn't able to. So because you're in these little tiny small passages and you want to shoot architecture, so you need a wider lens, right? Wider, more wide angle. So what I did is I shot a lot with the kit lens. And back home I realized, okay, I didn't use the kit lens at full 18mm, but mostly at around 24, 28mm. The year later, I went on vacation to Greece, the Peloponnese. I don't know if that is pronounced correctly. So all you Greek people, hit me with your knowledge. How is it pronounced in English or in Greek? So I will, if you tell me, next time I will say it correctly, or try to say it correctly. And I said, okay, I want to have a better lens for that. I need a bit more zoom because 55mm is not really a lot. I had a 55 to 200mm lens as well, but it wasn't stabilized. I don't have it here right now. It's somewhere because I don't use it anymore. And I wasn't really happy with that. So I said, if I'm on holiday and I will visit a lot of amazing places, and I did. Maybe one day I will talk about that. I need a new lens, and that's what I got. I got the Canon 28 135. I love that lens. It is not by no means the best lens in the world, but it's really a great lens, stabilized lens, fast autofocus. Gives me a lot of variety if it comes to focal length. So from 28 millimeter to 135 millimeter. I have to say one thing, because that is really a factor for later. The camera that I use, the EOS 700D, the Rebel T5i, back then it was still the T2i, the EOS 550D, is a so-called crop camera. So there's a crop sensor in it. So all these numbers about focal lengths are not accurate in terms of a 50 millimeter lens does not look like, or doesn't have the angle of view that a 50 millimeter lens would have on a 35 millimeter film or a full frame camera. So that's what we also always have to have in mind when getting lenses. Here's the thing: why is a 50 millimeter lens so popular? Because 50 millimeter on a 35 millimeter film or on a full frame camera gives us about the angle of view that we have with our eyes, with our human eyes, right? It's not really accurate, because if we were really accurate, then it would be more like about 40 millimeter. That is like when everything looks through the camera very close to what we perceive with our human eyes. So around 40 millimeter, 50 millimeter. So that's why these lenses are called normal lenses. On a crop camera like that, because we don't see that full frame, but only a crop, because the sensor is smaller, right? We have that angle of view of about an 80 millimeter lens on a full frame camera. If that sounds too complicated, I will surely talk about that issue soon in a video or audio. I think I talked about crop factor in one of my podcast episodes, but I will talk about it, make a video about that. So where was I? Yeah, so I got this 28 135 because zoom, etc., and the picture quality is really decent. Got that used, was okay-ish. So, and the last lens that I have is this 70 to 300 millimeter lens, comparatively affordable lens. Was about like $100 or something. I didn't even have to pay anything for that because I had a gift card. So cool thing, has a macro mode, made some cool shots. Also very good for portraits. And that's, oh, someone messaged me or not? What is it? No, my news app told me about that. So okay. So why did I get the 24 millimeter lens? I realized, okay, I use the 50 millimeter lens is great also for, it's not really wide angle, right? It's about 80 millimeter, the angle of view of an 80 millimeter lens, so a slight telephoto lens on a full frame camera. And I do shoot a lot of interiors lately. I do shoot a lot of portraits lately inside. I had a wedding shooting a couple of weeks ago. I had a shooting of a bachelorette party. Yes, I was on a bachelorette party, guys. And it is exactly like you imagine a bachelorette party would be. Lots of complaining about health and drinking weird type of alcohol. And I was just the photographer, right? No touching. No, really, seriously, no touching. I winked because I thought I made a joke, but of course I'm a professional, right? And they would have slapped me, so no touching. Okay, so I thought I need a better lens. I need more wide angle than that. And the 28 millimeter of that 28 135 wasn't wide enough for me. In many cases, I wished I had just a tiny little bit more, right? And also, it is the biggest opening is 3.5. which is okay-ish, but it's not good. And 2.8 is 1 f-stop more, so we get more light. And the great thing is I can get really close with that lens, like 16 centimeters. So that is, what does it say in feet? 0.52 feet, so half feet. That's amazing. I can be really close, can get macro shots with that lens. And through the lens opening, through the big aperture, I get really a lot of light in, and maybe even a great bokeh. So we'll see. I will go out tomorrow shooting with that lens because I have a day off tomorrow. Well, the day later in the evening I have to work probably. So, and take a couple of landscape shots, and I will use that lens. And I will show, you will see the results on my blog, TVOOM.tumblr.com. So bye-bye. Till next time.
Daddy, I don't want to miss any of Pete's videos.
Well, then subscribe to his channel.